You are now joining the meeting.
Hello, everyone. This is Derek. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, gotcha.
Okay, great. I'm going to turn it over to Coach to handle any review of Iowa he would like to after watching the film, and then we'll take your questions about Nebraska.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Well, we obviously got a little bit out of our shooting funk in the first half against Iowa. That was good to see. It was a challenging game from the standpoint that we weren't overly healthy. Only really by necessity had I planned on playing Mark Smith that many minutes, and then he's had a recurrence after the game the next day, so he's just kind of finding his way back. LaRon has been sick for some time, and it's probably the best he's feeling right now. But I thought we did some great things in the first half. I thought our ball movement was very good, 14 assists. We shared the ball. We played unselfish. And then, the last 3 minutes and 52 seconds of the first half really set a tone. And again, it was they scored 14 points at the free throw line, not just in that stretch, but throughout the ball game in what were just silly fouls. And they're compounded, and we let Bohannon get his head up a little bit with a couple of silly fouls and get to the free throw line. And it was a 20-point game at the 3:52 mark, and they cut it to 12, and obviously opened the half on a 10-0 run. So that stretch right there then made things very difficult, and foul trouble, pretty much made things very difficult. We started 4 freshmen in the overtime. So I give Iowa credit. They whooped us on the boards. They took us out to the woodshed, just gave us an old-fashioned whooping on the glass. We can't have those kind of rebounding nights from our frontline guys. And then we need more minutes, more production from LaRon in the future. But that one's behind us, and again, I think we've gotten healthy and get ready to play a very good Nebraska team that is, got a veteran backcourt. They shoot it. They can play 5 out with the addition of Roby and Copeland. Copeland, a transfer from Georgetown, has given them a nice dimension. They're extremely well coached. They're sound defensively. So great environment and a great facility. I'm excited to see the new facility. Obviously, being in the Big 12 for a long time, I saw the Devaney Center, and I've seen their practice facility, but I have not seen their arena. So I know Nebraska has always got a great fan base, and everyone's told me what a great environment it is. So I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Brad, this is Mark Tupper. So it sounds like LaRon is better, and are you saying Mark Smith is maybe worse, or
he got
similar,
worse?
Or?
He just had he's had the throwing up, vomiting, diarrhea, and then he kept food down the day of the game. He hadn't been in practice in a couple of days, and then the next day woke up and was back at it. And so he is. We all know being sick what that feels like, and how much energy that takes out of you and depletes your body. And yesterday was his kind of his first full practice in 5 or 6 days. So he was better today. So hopefully we're getting that build up where we're getting him back into top physical shape.
Coach, this is Scott from WDWS. Can you provide any update, or is there any change in the status with Tejon Lucas?
No change. He will not be traveling with us.
Brad, let me ask you a question about Trent. We were all talking the other night. You were talking about Trent having a level of swagger and mojo that some of the other guys maybe don't have. Is it your experience that either he can that some of that can be transferred to other guys, that they look at him or they're around him and they say, I should be able to do a little bit of that? Is there any way to spoon feed that to the guys that need it a little more?
No question. no question. But you've got to have somebody that has it and has the ability to not fear it and not fear the moment, not fear failure. I talk about it all the time, and that's Trent. And his energy in practice has been incredible the last 2 days. He's probably had 2 practices better than he played the other night, and that becomes very, very contagious. And I think everybody wants to be a part of that and have that feeling. And he struggled early. He had to learn, and he had to grow. And now you go 7 of 11 from the 3 and 10 of 20 from the field, and he had a bad travel on the first possession of the game. Beyond that, he played 40-plus minutes with a couple turnovers, and he's got every right to have a little swagger going with him. And I do think it'll become contagious for the rest of our team.
Brad, how would you characterize? I'm sorry, go ahead, Scott.
I guess with Mark Smith maybe feeling a little bit better now, but still no Tijon. Does that mean that there might be some instances where DeMonte or Mark Alswork might be running the point a little more for you? Yeah,
any of those guys can play it. In our stuff, we're pretty interchangeable. We have guys that we can flow into our half court stuff pretty easily, and in our transition stuff, we obviously like the ball in Trent's hands, but we also do enough stuff that that a point guard doesn't have to have it, so to speak. But Mark can play it. Mark Smith can play it. DeMonte's probably gotten the most chunk of time there. We'll fill in however we need to.
Coach, this is Derek Piper. You were in a similar situation last year, being 0-6 to start Big 12 play. What do you learn about your team in those times of adversity?
Character. You find out who's with you and who's against you, and I don't mean that in every sense, but you find out the personality. You find out when times are tough and nothing goes, what kind of man you are, and more importantly, now we've got to try to find out what kind of team we want to be, and we'll find out if the locker room becomes more divided, or if the locker room comes together. I happen to think this locker room is going to come together, and it's always easy to splinter, and it's always easy to complain, and it's always easy to jump off the bandwagon and not listen when you get discouraged. And I talked to our guys about being discouraged the other day, and that you can't let it, not allow you to prepare, not get your shots, not get your work, not run as hard, not watch as much film. That's what discouragement will do, and I think that's where maybe Trent's swagger and confidence is oozing into our locker room, and I like that. And we were able to have that last year, and we had a young man in Phil Forte who said enough is enough, and started demanding more from his teammates, and we were very fortunate. And I think this team is capable, and we've shown that with 3 overtime losses. A game that was right there in the taking at Minnesota, and let it half at Michigan, and we know how well Michigan's playing. So, we're not far off, but we can't let discouragement be the voice of reason here. We've got to be solid and sound and bought into who we and what we're talking about and what we're trying to do collectively.
Thanks, Brad. This is Scott again. How have you maybe seen Michael Finke just handle this rough stretch he's going through the last couple weeks?
Michael's got a tremendous amount of pride, man. He is, it's excuse me. He's a guy who's been in here every day early. He's continued to shoot, and we talked the other day, and he comes in and he's talking with coaches and what can I do, and he keeps seeking advice and wanting to learn, and our staff keeps helping him and keeps teaching him. And I had a long conversation with him yesterday. I've lost no belief in him as a player. I ran a couple plays for him the other night to get shots. And I think he's going to shoot it and make it. And I think he's hard on himself, but I think reshifting a few things mentally for him will help him. And I expect him to play well against Nebraska. I expect him to play well the rest of the season. But he cares. He's a great teammate, and I know over the course of time when you do those things, things usually work out okay for you.
Scott Beatty here from DWS. Looking at Greg Ebo's work over the last 3 games, is it safe to say he's earned a regular spot in your rotation?
Oh, no doubt. And I think in one with, you have to look at more minutes and his athleticism, Greg's ability to rim run and set ball screens and get to the front of the rim is a problem for opponents. And when you got Trent with the ball and he's a potential problem, and Greg rim running like that, the defense has to figure out what to do. And he creates tremendous spacing problems for opponents because he's so fast, he's so athletic. He's got more to his game than just catching rolls to the rim and dunking. And but he's playing with tremendous confidence, and again, I think along with Trent, probably had his best 2 days of practice here the last 2 days. So I'm excited about his future, and we need to continually get more rebounding from him, but he's a guy that's capable of being a double-figure rebound guy. So absolutely, been very pleased with what Greg's done here in the last couple weeks. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.